Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today, going to be a replay specifically recommended by RJB. He sent it to me directly through Discord and said it's an incredible game. So we've got 10-minute flash, otherwise known as speed. And on the bottom right here, we have ArtUser. So it's a TVZ here on Overwatch. And once again, thank you very much to RJB for supplying me with excellent replays. If you like the replays that I cast, the majority of them that I cast are from RJB. Check him out at RJB TV. On YouTube, just search that in the search bar and you will find him. Let him know that Falcon sent you. He pretty much is an expert at fastest map. He has a lot of great relationships with professional StarCraft players. And let's go ahead and see why he sent me this replay and recommended it so heavily, shall we? Alright, man. So, this is Speed. He used to be known as Sexy, but changed his name to Speed. And his original name here is 10-Minute Flash. Idolizing Flash. And maybe saying he's faster than Flash. We'll have to see. We'll have to see where his career takes him. Alright, man. So, this is Overwatch. I'm not entirely sure if I've cast a game on this map before, but yeah, I don't know. It's just fairly familiar. Got this Shakuras tile set. This is your natural, pretty darn wide open place to wall off, which Zerg doesn't care about, but Terran and Protoss do. And a third base with a ramp leading up to it. That is very good for Zerg players as well as Terran players and Protoss players. Wider ramps at 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock expansions. Are there two? Oh, okay. So a narrow ramp and a wide ramp. All right. And wow. Okay, so center expansions that are minerals only and good places to put Marines or lurkers or siege tanks on the high ground and kill some workers. So I'm pretty sure nobody's going to expand here unless it is coming down to desperation resource collection, right? Right. Expansions at top right and bottom left. And yeah, this is a 2-player map, not a 4-player map. So that's why Terra the Overlord here is scouting at a cross position. Yes, indeed. I understand. I mean, there's not a lot of green to look at here, but there's a little bit of water to fly over, kind of cool off your tentacles here a bit if you're into that sort of thing. But on the other end of it, that was a hatch first play out of ArtUser. Nothing crazy to start this thing off. And then quick into layer, no metabolic boost, which the SCV did scout and says, okay, I don't have to worry about speedlings for some time then, but I do have to worry about Mutalisks a little bit earlier than I normally would in one of these matches. So all's well in love and war here today between these two players. I think pretty standard stuff. Going right into a factory though, interesting. There could be a mech opening out of speed, which is something we've seen from him before on the channel. He does love going mech against Zerg, and he's very good with it. I believe, if I remember correctly, he defeated Hero with a mech play against Hero Zerg. A while ago on the channel here. So, I don't know when it was chronologically compared to when these players were actually playing these games on a calendar, but yeah, he's very, very good with mech. His macro is extremely strong. There you go. Quick vulture out here, and this does honestly feel like opening mech against a Zerg player. Insane. We did get a very good mech game on the channel just last week. If you missed that one, it was epic tagged. I'm not sure you would have missed it, but be sure to check it out. My epic playlist is one you're not going to want to miss for sure. And yeah, actually, you do have to worry about lings a little bit, so slow lings roll in, SCV protected. Obviously, not really microing this vulture out all that much, but that's okay. Now microing it as necessary and then chasing the SCV down, or Zergling down rather, as the SCV goes back to work. Vulture can't quite get in because there is a sunken here with the Spire coming up to kind of wall off easy access to shooting at these workers. And then a macro hatch comes up here too at the second base location. Interesting. I would have thought maybe he'd go for a third base here, recognizing that this is mech. It's a little bit slower. Yeah, there's your second factory. It's a little bit slower than Bio is, obviously. So I think it's entirely possible, right? I think it's entirely possible for the Zerg player to get a third base up here. Sure, there's 2 ramps to defend, but again, defending ramps is not a huge problem when it comes to Zerg. Actually, Do all of these bases have the 2? Oh, they have the 2 ramps. I didn't see that. Actually, the corner bases have 1. So yeah, this is something where the Zerg player would probably want to expand to a corner base, get some lurkers on the side ground, defend against incoming lurkers and whatnot. And we're going Goliaths though. Okay, so we've seen this quite a bit. Obviously, it's moderately standard to kind of open this Goliath play with mech if your opponent is opening Mutalisks, as Goliaths only do half damage to mutas, but if you have Charon boosters, you're hitting them from a distance, getting extra hits, and it kind of makes up for it. So we'll see. This should be interesting. ArtUser is opening 2 base Mutalisk. No third to speak of. He has an Overlord kind of checking out this bottom left location. Sure, and Terry's hanging out just to see if, I don't know, any Valkyries or Wraiths or something crazy gets made here, but we're not seeing anything by way of Starport play here yet. Just going right for double factory, pumping Goliaths fast as terribly possible. We've got Charon boosters coming in, and here come Los Mutalisks. Turrets are on the way too. Turrets are going to be extremely useful here. You don't want to rely on the Goliaths entirely, even if they have the range. And yeah, turrets coming up in the natural base first, and then into the main base, and then the Goliaths kind of trying to split the difference here. So the mutas, I mean, they're kind of losing effectiveness the longer they just kind of run around. And oh, that was a drone trying to go take a third. Oh, and then the Vulture kills it, and the Vulture knows that he's dead because we didn't research Vulture speed, did we? Nah, Charon boosters was the first thing researched on that machine shop. So the mutas get a guaranteed kill by taking down that Vulture, and now they're going to head up and see what they can pull off. It's going to be difficult. There's 2 turrets at the natural base. There's 1 here in the main, but also you just have Goliaths hitting you from distance over and over and over again here. You're trying to maybe use this high ground here, right? So that the Goliaths aren't getting hits in this distance. They're only getting them here because of the vision difference here. So let's see. Is he going to do that? Like, carriers do this quite a bit. He's kind of staying... I'm not sure if he thinks he's going out of vision range there, but there you go. See, you can't fire on him once they get out of the vision range. So just kind of coming out of the darkness, and that's why Barracks is coming up to provide that vision. So mutas heading up the right side. They're like, there's something we do here in the main. 2 turrets up there protecting that command center. Goliath turret here kind of protecting the mid area. Is there a third base I need to worry about? No. Okay, that's good because I'm getting a third base of my own, which an SCV is going to scout and recognize that third base is coming up in the bottom left-hand corner for ArtUser. So mutas, all right, they just kind of fly past the missile turrets. That is a bit of a trap, though, isn't it? Like, getting in here, sure, you're going to kill some SCVs, absolutely. But also, you're going to lose a couple mutas? Okay, 0 mutas. Oh, my gosh, never mind. 1 muta, 2 mutas die. 3 Mutalisks die getting out of there. Worker count is still 33 for speed, so he's fine. 28 drones up for ArtUser, which is good for him, too. He's really heavily leaning into this Mutalisk stuff. So Mutaling is not a bad strategy against Mass Goliath. Of course, he's not really making Zerglings as much. It's pretty much just Mutalisks at this stage. Yeah, losing another Mutalisk there for nothing because of the range, right? You look at it and say, okay, so they're doing 20 damage per shot, but only 10 damage to Mutalisks, and Mutas are squishy, but, I mean, they come in with 120 HP. Come on. But, and this is where, okay, man, the Goliath ground damage is strong. It is stronger than a stimmed Marine, actually. And so the Mutas have to come in here and engage, which they don't want to do. They're trying to individually target down Goliaths, which is the way to do it is kind of take them down one at a time here, target firing individuals. But, oh my gosh, the mutas are dying as well. These are pretty good stutter step maneuvers we're seeing from speed here. This is great. This is so good from speed. He's going to lose all of his Goliaths, but he is killing a good number of Mutalisks, and it's 66 to 55 supply in favor of the Terran. Third command center timing should be fairly soon. Are we going to go into tanks at all? No, he's like, you know what? He's not making anything groundy. I don't see any Hydras. I don't see any Lurker Tech. I don't see any Lings coming out. So, yeah, just going to be Mutalisks. I'll just keep making Goliaths. And I think making good, effective trades. See, these free hits are everything to this Goliath strategy, man. Once the Mutas are on top of the Goliaths, it's hard for them to be cost efficient. But from a distance, those free shots are amazing. But also the Sunken's going to be disgustingly sick here. And it's going to get some amazing shots off. Really help kill a bunch of those Goliaths. And stays alive with 32 HP. Muta's trying to chase down Goliath, there's always more of them, though. They keep joining the party here, but this group is all that there is. Yeah, I mean, again, Goliath group dying, but how many mutas do we get this time around? There are 2 mutas. There we go. Gets both of the very injured Mutalisks there. I don't know if that was control by Speed or just maybe luck on his side, but check this out, man. It is just 5 Goliaths at a time. Okay, now going into some starports and a science facility, recognizing, okay, Irradiate would probably be really good here against this literal mass Mutalisk strategy out of ArtUser. I'm watching this production tab. I'm looking for anything like a Hydralisk den. It is Mutalisks all the way. And they're doing great. They're fighting hard. They got +1 armor, negating the attacks of the Goliaths even further than the 50% they're already losing. Amazing stuff here. SCV's getting killed. Still 41, though. 40. Oh, these mutas are just, they are YOLO mutas, man. By that, I mean, some of them make it out. Oh, God. Another one on the way out there, too. So six Mutalisks left over from that incoming group of like 10. If not more. Sunken's up to help defend against the incoming Goliath. The counterattacks are real. And still just on 2 base here is Speed. I'm really curious to see if he's going to try to get a 3rd base at all. That's a 4th base. Kind of sneaking in the top right-hand corner here for ArtUser. 81 to 75 total supply. I kind of think this is working out for ArtUser. Have we seen a game with literally nothing but Goliaths and nothing but Mutalisks? I'm not sure we've seen this before. I mean, we've seen kind of shorter games where Mass Goliath has totally crushed Zerg, right? Like a 11, 12, 13-minute game where the Goliaths just win. But I don't know that we've seen a game that's gone past that point where all we've seen are Mutas and Goliaths. No Lurker attempts, no Hydrotech switches, no Lings coming out, no like trying to get up to Adrenal Glands real fast so the Lings are more effective. The Mutas recognize the threat of the science facility, and they're going to take that down so you don't get Irradiate. They're willing to take some hits for that, and they do. They lose on Mutalisk there. Let's look at this engineering bay while we're at it. And there are Goliaths hunting for bases. They're not finding this top right one, though, yet. Yeah, the Mutas are like, with the turret support, though. Get that engineering bay burning down would be a good goal. And actually going to fly directly into some Goliath fire. And another Muta goes down to it. Absolutely brutal stuff. He's got +2 armor for his air units, and he's getting flyer attack now. He's making 10 Mutalisks at a time. Oh, those are free Goliaths if you want them. Is he going to turn around? He's like, oh, crap. Those are free Goliaths. I sure hope they don't link up with the rest of their buddies anytime soon. And then they link up to the rest of their buddies anytime soon. And by that, I mean right the heck now. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, Muta down, Muta down, Muta down. You can hear those Muta death sounds as well as I can. Yeah, top right base does get scouted by Speed. He finds this thing. And that's where all the Goliaths are heading. Like, okay, we really can't allow a 4-basing Zerg to fight up against us. True fact. 3rd base on the way from Speed 2 at the 12 o'clock. I love that from him. I wish he'd gotten it started sooner, but I guess it would have been kind of hard to defend, I suppose. So the Mutas are like, okay, we must come up here and defend against the death of the 4th base. Let's do that, the Mutalisks say. Come up this ramp, 1 or 2 at a time, please. That would be good for us if you did that. And maybe let this Sunken finish? No, that is not happening. That creep colony is dead. That thing's getting focused down. I mean, Sunkens are more of a threat than the Mutalisks are to some extent. Or maybe not. They actually allow it to survive. All right. All right, it's just going to be Goliath versus Mutalisk here. Goliath count is not super hot. Mutalisk count is a full 12, but a bunch of them are very blue, which means close to death. So we're stacking hard here, trying to whittle down the Goliaths. There you go. 1, 2, 1, 2, and yeah, this splash damage, this bouncy attack, this glaive worm attack we get from the Mutas is really helping here. And I know I've told this story a lot, but when Brood War was in like gaming magazines before it came out, I guess StarCraft at the time, because Brood War was not something we thought about. It didn't come out until like 6 months after StarCraft did. But I remember in gym class, they would make us just run laps. It was like the most uninspired gym class I've ever had. But that year, for whatever reason, that semester, they just made us run laps every class, and it was boring, but it was fine. And if you ran too fast, they docked you for whatever reason, so you just kind of jogged. And as these Mutas try to get something done, I just remember telling 2 of my friends that I ran with during that class many, many years ago, obviously, about this super cool unit called a Hydralisk, and it would attack and then it would bounce off and attack another thing and then another thing. It was so cool and so overpowered. And they were really overpowered in StarCraft until Charon boosters got introduced, until Valkyries got made, until Corsairs came into play in Brood War, right? Mutas reigned supreme in StarCraft 1. They were unstoppable, nigh unstoppable. All right, back to the game at hand here. Speed, 114 supply to ArtUsers, 97 supply. But bottom left base, bottom top or top right base working for ArtUser. Third base done, though, for speed, which is very useful. And he's just, yeah, man, this is just Goliath production all day. Looks like we are trying to get into some Hydralisk stuff, finally, at like 16 minutes for ArtUser here. He's working on speed upgrades for Hydras, but he's not making any of them. He's definitely maybe thinking about tech switching into the Hydras at some point, but not right now. For now, it is all Hydralisks all the time. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. The Charon boost missiles are too strong. Another base from ArtUser. What is going on here today? Oh, that Overlord died. That was probably Terry, huh? Rest in peace, Terry. We love you. You'll be back. You'll be resurrected and brought back to us by the Overmind, or I don't know, a Cerebrit or something. Kerrigan? Sure, why not? Okay. 49 workers here, which is really healthy. Finally, Irradiate's getting researched. Did he finally replace the science facility? It looks like it. A little bit later than maybe I'd like him to if he's going to win this game, but, you know. Oh, actually, this is some pretty good scouting from Speed. He's probably using ComSat, but, yeah. So this right o'clock base dies. This 3 o'clock base dies. This is so many Hydralisks, though. Oh, my gosh, it's so many Mutas. They can almost, I think they can just stack one kill, like one shot, a Goliath, but they see the Science Vessel here and they're like, we're not sure if you have a Radiate yet, so he pre-splits. Oh yeah, you don't get turrets out in the middle of the map. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm walking here. There you go. More Hydras, 10 Hydras in production. Okay, so we're definitely switching into Hydralisks now. And that should be a bit of a problem. But 2-2 upgraded Goliaths fight pretty well against Hydras, just not the absolute best in the world. So maybe recognizing the Muta count is not continuing to increase, and maybe there's something else we need to worry about here. But man, it is literally just Goliaths with Science Vessels being produced by Speed. In that production tab, Hydras, they've got the +1 attack. They're working on +2 attack, which is going to keep them up to the attack level that the Goliaths have. They don't have any armor upgrades, nor will they for some time. There's a Queen's Nest coming in. And Hydras make themselves known. I think they killed maybe a Goliath that was left there to protect it, or maybe an SCV was up here planning on expanding there too. I don't know. But look at this! Oh, remember I was like, no one's ever going to take these center bases unless they have to. And it looks like kind of Speed has to, right? You can't take the top right. This left side is completely owned by Zerg right now. Yeah, he tried to and got that shut down. So, desperation set up here. He's going to protect this high ground as much as he can. But Lurkers showing up, or even just Hydra sitting on this high ground, or Muta sitting on this high ground, anything on this high ground is going to be problematic. So the Mutas have +1 attack, +2 armor. I think we're done upgrading those guys for now. Whoa! Gamete Meiosis. We're actually making queens? This is going to be the second time in like 5 days we get a queen replay on the channel. It kind of feels like maybe it is. Although maybe that was a Patreon game at patreon.com/FalconPaladin. Oh. It's a got an epic tag anyway. All right, so Hydra Muta, for whatever reason, about 80% more effective than just Hydralisks, but yo, the Irradiates are amazing! So all the Hydralisks are totally dead now, and it's 144 to 111 supply, and speed is way up, but then you defended against incoming Hydralisk attacks at this third base, didn't you, Speed? Yeah, and Hydras are going to just completely wreck everything here because there's only turrets. Yeah, that's true. So some Hydras, well, some of these Goliaths head north to try to defend against this craziness. Some of them, just kidding. There were some of them heading south, but they're way outnumbered and they're dead now. So these Hydras are just taking high ground positions, right? Because high ground to low ground's going to miss some shots, so it's incredibly advantageous to be here. You're just no casually killing SCVs. It's 44 SCVs to 48 drones now. These Hydras coming up. This is an intense game. Dude, this Hydralisk, 3 kills, 5 kills, some of the more cost-efficient Hydras you're ever going to see. And then, ta-da! The 4th base has to be lifted off. Finally, siege tank production is happening in response to the fact that there are Hydralisks out with no armor upgrades at all. Dude, Gamete Meiosis, though, he's trying to go queens against this mech. which traditionally I think has about a 10% success rate on the channel. It's not impossible. It's not great either. Siege tanks firing in, mutas trying to get rid of them siege tanks so that, okay, Hydras do a good job of it too. So tanks gone. And, I mean, Hydras trade really well against Goliaths. They don't trade very well against Marines with stim and medic support, but against Goliaths, number for number, they're going to be good, but here they're heavily outnumbered, and they're going to get overwhelmed. But, ooh, see the command center heading south and say, okay, I'm going to try to expand down this way too, but 12 queens in production, and it is time for the queens to be used in an attempt to get rid of the tanks. Or I guess maybe the Goliaths, because that is largely what's happening here today is the Goliaths, which are great targets for Spawn Broodling too. They're not quite as expensive or big and beefy as the siege tanks are, and therefore not quite as great targets. But man, look at this ArtUser taking the 6 o'clock base. He's just really out expanding hard against this meching Terran, which is kind of what you need to do because they're going to be more cost efficient a lot of the time. But that said, the Goliath stuff is not as cost efficient as if you're going a million siege tanks and vultures with spider mines and then a handful of Goliaths, right? Mass Goliath, less cost efficient, although that was really cost efficient. That was 0 Terran units dead for a whole bunch of mutas, at least 3. Macro hatch is on the way, continue to make siege tanks, working on missile attack level 3. Another sneaky Hydra attack, but got some siege tanks to back this one up. And the mutas come on into the third base, kill a couple SCVs, knock down the SCV count to 43. Siege tanks in good positions. They have 3-3 upgrades too. Yeah, 3-3 tanks are just... Hydras do not want to engage with that generally. They do pretty well against smaller nubs of tanks in the open, but when they're trying to come up a ramp and they have to get through Goliaths, and then siege tanks are also firing on the whole time, that is time to get out. So the Queen Ball is hiding. Here they are. Here's our beautiful, ugly, ugly queens. You can see their faces in the remaster. What a freaking weird design queens are. They're like tents, kind of. Just like hollow bodies. It's kind of Mutalisks, though. They kind of have this curving tent setup, too. I don't know. Whoever designed the visuals of the Zerg is creative. I'll give them that. They are distinctive. They look gross and interesting and alien, and I think that was what they were trying to do. This is where that Goliath sees all of these queens and says, oh, all right. So you can irradiate a queen and kill it. It doesn't have enough HP to survive that. Also, Goliaths are really good at packing a punch against queens, too, so they can kind of one-volley those down if there's enough missiles coming in that volley. Nidus Canal coming in to allow defense to any of these bases at a moment's notice, which is really smart. Also, you know what would be amazing here is Dark Swarm. I don't know why we're not getting any Dark Swarm at all here at 23 minutes from ArtUser. He's not interested in actually even going. Is he going for a hive? Spawn Broodling? Connect! Bam! Got it. Tank dead. Oh, but the Irradiate catches 2 of the dead queen. They're gonna, okay, I guess if this is happening, this is happening. Spawn Broodling does get tossed down. Queen Irradiate on the queens, but getting Spawn Broodlings anyway. As well as they can, providing vision, I suppose. So the tank count gets wiped out in this group, but I don't know, there's like 30 Goliaths here. Gutting up a ramp against this many Sunkets and Hydras is gonna be rough. So Speed decides to back the heck on out. Maybe try to expand at this left side, 9 o'clock if at all possible. He's mined out of his main and his natural, and his third base is fairly healthy because it was a late expand. All right, so more queens coming in here from ArtUser. ArtUser. I don't know what user is in French, but oh no, free science vessels. Oh no. Okay, that was worth killing. He kills his own irradiated Hydra. Smart move. Another dead one right here. Ready? I said you were smart enough to take. There it is. To take down dead irradiated Hydras from hurting anybody else. Man, those science vessels dying really hurt Speed. That said, oh, there's only one siege tank here, but do you even need many siege tanks when you have this many 3-3 Goliaths? Oh, that Knight is taking tank shots, coming around the backside, so siege tank dies. All right. You're going to start using Spawn Broodlings on Goliaths because it's like, I don't know if there are 360s surround here, Hydras at the north, maybe queens at the backside. Do you want, I mean, at some point, it really feels like ArtUser is saving these for tanks. He does not seem all that interested in using this against Goliaths, which I kind of feel like he sort of needs to do at some point, because the Goliaths are kicking butt. They are winning engagements. Okay, you hear the siege sound and dead. And dead. Okay, so these queens are staying alive. But then the Goliaths are still marching into the 6 o'clock base, causing immense amounts of trouble for ArtUser. And yeah, this base, I think, is just going to die. But, I mean, I don't know. Some Hydras are trying to save it by coming here from the south. They're getting irradiated. And actually, Hydras popping out at the 6 o'clock managed to make that work, too. Nice. Science Vessel dead. +3 attack Hydras. Do not mess around with their anti-air capabilities. Going for a Carapace upgrade. Throwing up another Nidus Canal somewhere. This game is crazy intense. Oh, tried to expand right side. No, say the Hydralisks, but yes, say the tanks and Goliaths. We do have some Scourge out. Okay, I was going to say, are we going to make Scourge against Science Vessels at all, or just try to make do with Hydras, because I'm not sure that's exactly what we want to be doing here. Okay, Wondrous. So it's burning, but it takes a while to burn down, and there's SCBs to repair if Speed's paying attention, and he is. Okay, excellent. Nicely done, Speed. So, like I said, Speed's mech is really good. However, this is not traditional mech. This is not enough vultures with spider mines. I honestly would rather see him maybe go for that to keep his tanks protected, but man, that is a heck of a lot of tanks. That said, that queen count is fairly nuts. And by that, I mean, I don't know where they are right now, and maybe they died and I wasn't paying attention. Oh, here they are. Here are los queens. There are 11 of them, and I think they all have enough energy for a spawn broodling. They certainly do. So, okay, all these tanks can get spawn broodlinged. That's 1, 2. All right. 3. I think that was a third one. My gosh, queens everywhere, and just dying for it, too. Look at the broodlings trying to kill the siege tank that's being repaired. That's hilarious. So, yeah, see, tank count got reduced to 2. A lot of queens died, though. Like, a lot of queens died, though. And I think Speed, 117 to 99 supply. Taking this right side base is awesome for him. The left side base being taken by ArtUser would be really good for him, too. Look who's managed to hold on to this kind of center top base. Speed totally has. What a boss. I would not have been able to hold that. I would have lost it a million years ago. Once again, really trying to... Oh, couldn't even get that spawn broodling off. The Goliaths were ready to shoot that queen right in the face. There's additional queens coming in. I don't know if this is going to work out in the long run. Neither player even close to maxed out. Do you know there's siege tanks here? Oh, we're bringing queens this time. Okay. All right, that's fine. And bonk. Queen dies, but tank dies too. That's a big deal. The 12 o'clock base dying to like 4 Hydras would be pretty detrimental to Speed's attempts to win this game. By that I mean 3 Hydras, not 4, because one of them died. And also, the army's coming to save it anyway, so never mind. 12 o'clock base secure. 9 o'clock patch on the way here from ArtUser. 128 to 109 supply. And Speed forced to pull back quite heavily. Maybe too much? I don't think he needed to pull back that much, but that's what he did in the end. So top right base, I mean, I don't know. Is it defended enough here? Could we throw down some Nidus reinforcements at the top right as these siege tanks are coming in? Sieging up. Gonna get a scan up and take care of the Sunkens. Or send an SCV up the ramp and have it die. That doesn't seem like the best way to do things, but spawn ruling on one of the tanks. Everybody on sieges and backs out. We don't know how many queens are up there. We can't see. Look. We don't know. It's dark up there. It's real scary. He doesn't have really vision anywhere, but he sees this little Hydra counterattack. This is kind of fun. Maybe we'll stick in his vision for a second here. We'll go back in a minute. So he's like, all right, so we're going to come around this box side. We're going to trap these Hydras in a big trap so they all die and not lose a single anything. Ooh, but more coming from the... Oh, fog of war, fog of war. Reinforcing Hydras coming in. It doesn't look like there's a scary number of them, so we're good. Yeah, see, that's what we're talking about. Kind of fun to see from the other player's perspective a little bit. 16 Hydras on the way. High ground positioning helping here. Spawn Broodling, okay. Couple of the tanks go down. There's still 3 here, though. Not enough energy, not almost enough energy on these queens, but not quite. Can he save the 9 o'clock base? Not with 2 siege tanks firing on him, maybe just against the Goliaths. They know that. They're pulling back to the safety, getting covered by aforementioned Goliaths here. 46, 47, 48. Almost time to be able to get rid of those siege tanks. But no, they're getting picked off. Come around the outside. More siege tanks are showing up, though. Okay, so they both got nice spawn broodlings off there. That's fantastic. 124 to 98 supply. What an absolutely insanely tight game this is right now. This is Speed heading on out. He does not like what he sees. He's got to bring some reinforcements to come up this ramp. Find time for these queens to get more energy out. Do you have enough? Ooh, almost. Almost for one, but that doesn't seem like it's enough. Coming up, this ramp is massive. Coming up the, at the 3 o'clock base here, one tank behind a supply depot wall. Enough to hold off the Hydralisks. And the defense is not good here at the 9 o'clock base from ArtUser. He's going to lose this hatch. And that's a GG. ArtUser taps out. Wow. What a fantastic game. RJB was not wrong. RJB is never wrong. He never sends me replays that are bad. Are you really here? Okay, he's done. Speed's like, we're going to bring this down to 0 HP, and then we're going to tap out. Look at this, a 0 HP hatchery that is still existing. Strange. Yeah, well defended, though. I mean, the defense of the expansions was very good from Speed today. I love the supply depot wall with a tank behind it. Very hard to get through. The annoying thing here is if you're a Zerg fan, is you could just come up around here, come up this ramp, although I guess maybe, I'm thinking you can squish through here, but maybe not. Maybe it's the same problem, supply depot wall there too. But yeah, he holds on to this base. He has to kind of lift and get out of there for a minute. He does attack at the 12 o'clock, defends that one too. So he did a really good job on base defense here today. And then just, yeah, Mass Goliath Siege Tank Science Vessel. One Vulture was made, I think it was just the one. No upgrades for them at all. No Spider Mines, just complete and utter Goliath. And then moving into more Siege Tanks when it was clear the Hydra transition was on for ArtUser. Beautifully done. Beautifully executed today by Speed here. Again, he's a great meching Terran. I really like what he does. And seeing more of him would not be too bad. So yeah, he's just got 3 sources of income. And I guess it was maybe this one. Did he hang on to the 6 o'clock? Hold on a second. I need to see exactly what ArtUser was rolling with there. No. Okay, so he's still mining here, but once he loses this, he's on 2 bases, and this top right base is not super healthy for income. Yeah, I mean, 300, 500, 600 minerals on these patches, not a lot compared to, obviously, 1,200, 1,000, right? That's what we're seeing on these new bases. And then once he loses this base, he knows he's basically down to a 2 base versus a 3 basing meching Terran who's probably going to take the 9 o'clock for zone 2, and he tapped out. So it's a little premature. He's not that dead, but he saw the writing on the wall. He's had to tap out before it got too scary, before it was too hard to deal with. And yeah, so that's another game wherein queens are attempted to deal with a meching Terran, and it doesn't work. So, not my favorite strat, but, you know, it works sometimes. It's not entirely unviable. 265,000 points from Speed, 247 for ArtUser. Outproduced the Terran by about a 2-to-1 ratio, but this kill-death ratio is exactly what Speed needs in that situation, about 2-to-1. Buildings raised fairly minimal. Resources here, yeah, ArtUser about 10,000 resources outspent the Terran player here, but it wasn't enough in 30 minutes. Just too much cost effectiveness from the Goliaths, from the siege tanks especially, and then killing those bases while keeping his bases protected was the play. So GG. Absolutely disgustingly, fantastically well done stuff there from Speed. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all / Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. You take care of yourself.